Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. In today's lecture, we will be discussing about the OOPS in Python, where in part 3, I'll be covering the topics which are constructors, destructors, class attributes, and instance attributes. So in today's lecture, the first topic is constructors. In Python programming, the init underscore two times and bracket method will be executed during object creation. Hence, this method is used as a constructor for the class. The method or the constructor is used to initialize the class variables. The constructor method should always take the self pointer as the RST argument. The remaining argument will be passed during the object creation. An example for the construction is given below. I hope once you get clear, you will get the clear vision that what this constructor does. So let's take class which is ex, I would say, and I'll go with defining a limit class where init and subclass where I'll be putting self and arg argument, where in it I will say that self dot a equals to arg, where I will not pass the function, and now I will say object equals to ex, and let's define the function as 300. Now I will say that print, and let's put the value defined by the constructor, value defined by the constructor, which is equals to, and I must say comma, and object dot, where let's see what we get as the output, and once we type we get the value defined as we get the answer as 300. So the value defined by the constructor is 300. So this is how constructor works, and the statement for which the syntax of the constructor is double underscore init and double underscore. So this is the function of constructor, whereas now comes to the destructors. So let's say what is destructors. So the destructors in programming, the underscore underscore del underscore underscore close bracket. So this is the syntax of let me tell you syntax, and the syntax is double underscore, and I will say del, and then double underscore and pass by bracket. So this is how the method will be executed during objects to get destroyed. When a program is niched execution, all the objects are managed by memory management. So automatically the del method is called when all reference to the object have been deleted. So for example, if I say that let's say that class x, where defining del, and I would say self comma argument, passing an argument with semicolon, where self dot a equals to arc. So define so again def, finding a function which is underscore underscore, and next say del, underscore underscore, and then self, self, where it would be print object, object deleted. So let's say what does it do, and run the command. So once you run, okay, so we have class X. Okay, do we have any questions? No. And what was happening here? Let me clear this off. Okay, clear, and let's see, and run the command. So once you run the command, it will give you that the objects have been deleted. So this is how the output, their value will be denied by the constructor and the object is deleted. So it's not showing, I don't know why it is not showing here, but later on I will check on it. Now let's move to another problem statement. So then what is the output of this statement? So let's see, I will just simply copy and let's see what we get as an output. So here I will be taking as a sample of the constructor, and in constructor and destructor. So both the examples are being called together where an object is created and object is deleted, and where object samples were given, and let's see what the output we get. So once you execute, we get the object at one object created, two object created, and object deleted, one object deleted, and two object deleted. So what happened here in class, the sample was given where both of the objects were first created by using the constructor command, and then both the statements were objects were deleted by using the delete statement in the oops function in Python. So this is how this functions works. I'll give you this as an example. I hope you do it on the home and leave the answer in the comments. And if you feel anything that it is wrong or whatever you have a query, then please ask me in the comments. Now comes the instance attribute. Instance attributes. So an instance attribute, an instance is created as an object of a class where every instance has class attributes with them along with some extra attributes called instance attributes. These attributes are from different from classes at class attributes. If a class has two instances, then they share the same class attributes, may have different values, but every instance has different instance attributes. Every object has a direct copy of the instance attributes. We can use the following two types of functions. One is the var function and another one is direct function. So this function displays the attribute of an instance in the form of a dictionary, whereas the direct function displays more attributes than the variable function, as it is not limited to the instance. It displays the class attribute as well as it also displays the attributes of its ancestors classes. So let's take an example where you will get a much clear idea of what we are talking. So let's say class class students and where define self and self dot name, which is equals to, I will say, single inverted commas xyz, and then self dot roll number, which is equals to 4000. Now I say that let's define another one where it shows def show self where print self dot name and self dot print self dot roll number. Now let's create the instance of the class students. So while creating the class students instance, let's say that s1 equal, okay, hmm. So here we say that s1 equals to student double comma, and now I will say s1 dot show, and let's print a dictionary form, uh, print, I would say dictionary form, where we're using the was, where in bracket I will say s1. So now let's also print, and let's say dir s1 comma and dir s1. And now let's see what we get as an output. First let me clear the terminal for you, and let's run the code. So once you run the code, you will get the output as in the form of dictionary, where you will get the name, xyz, roll number and 4000, where in the dictionary, whereas when we'll get the class, deleter, dictionary, description, format, get attributes, get hash, init. So all those things will be given to you regardlessly when you will be answering this in this format. So this is how the instance attributes works. So now let's get jump onto another one, which is the class attributes. Class attributes. So in class attributes, what happens? A class can have many instances. Class attributes belongs to the class itself. They will be shared by all the instances. If we change those class attributes in one instance, then it will change in all instances. Such attributes are defined in the class body parts, usually at the top for legibility. For example, if I say that class has a sample class where c equals to 0, and that let's define the function to increase the self. So once you do, you will get the attribute which are defined in class body part, usually at the top of the function. So let's take an example and clear it off. So class sample, I will say sample class and class, and then I say c equals to uh, 0, where define increase uh, self, and then where sample class dot c plus equals to 1. Now let's create an instance of the class sample class. So to create an instance, let's say s1 equals to sample class and s1 dot increase. We have to increase by the function, so we will say increase, and now let's print s1 dot c. So once you get the output of the class attribute using s1, so let's create another instance for the s2 class. So to create another instance of the s2 class, it would be the same. Just say that s2 equals to sample class, and where s2 dot, I would say increase, and now let's also print it for the class. I would say print, and let's say s2 dot c, s2 dot c. So once you get here, now let's print the function, which is print and sample class dot c. Before that, let me clear the instance, and now let's run the term. So once you do, okay, si, where it is, si, okay, we get s1. Now let's run the code. Si dot where, si sample class, you mean s1? Did you mean s1? Si is not defined. Where is si? Okay, s1. Now let's me clear it off again, and now let's check. So once you run the code, you get the answer as 1, 2, 2. So this is how you get the output as of this statement. And now let's jump to another problem statement, which will be telling us more clearly about using the attributes, class attributes, instance attributes, where we can use this kind of functions and statements to make it more clear to us. So let me simply copy this statement to give you a brief idea. Control C and Control A, and now let's print. So once you print, you get the answer as 244, where we use the sample class c equals to 1, which was a class attribute. Then we define the function where it was increasing in the self format, where sample class was multiplied equals to 2. So the s1 was sample class, then it is increased, and which is ended by a space. So whereas the s2 class was also increasing and printed and ended by space. So this is how sample class works, where it has a space 2 space 4 space 4, which is just because of and this. Okay, so that's all for today's lecture. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you learn about the class attributes and constructor, deconstructor, and instance attributes. So see you in the next lecture. Bye.